Committee reports are considered to be one of the most important documents of legislative history research. So you may be asking yourself, where can I find a House or a Senate report in HeinOnline? Well, all House and Senate reports are published in the United States Congressional Serial Set, which isn't a resource that we have in HeinOnline. However, because they are such an important piece of legislative history research, we may have that House or Senate report in our U.S. Federal Legislative History Library. Now, this library has more than 400 full-text legislative histories, compiled legislative histories in it. So, how do we determine if we have the House or Senate report that you're looking for? We're going to take a look today at a few different options or ways that you can browse to a public law to determine if we have that House or Senate report. So the first thing we need to do is determine what public law the committee report is tied to. So if we have an example, let's say the Uruguay Round Agreements Act, and we're looking for House Report number 829. Now, based on the other research and notes that we have, we know that this House report number and the Uruguay Round Agreements Act are tied to the public law 103-465. So now what we can do is we can browse our compiled legislative history collection and look for that public law number. Now, the first thing you'll see from the landing page here is an A to Z listing of the actual legislative history titles. But we also allow you to browse by the public law number or the popular name of the public law. So we're going to click on public law number since we have the public law number 103-465. Now the public laws are going to be sorted in ascending order, so you could scroll through the list to find the public law you're looking for, or you can use the command find function on your keyboard. And to do that, you're going to hit the Control button and then the letter F as in Frank on your keyboard. So Control F. And that's going to bring up a search box here, depending on your browser. Mine's located in the upper right-hand corner of my screen. And in this search box, we can simply input our public law number, 103-465. And what that's doing is it's searching this page in our web browser for whatever it is that we type in this find box. So here we'll see the Uruguay Round Agreements Act, Public Law 103-465. So what we can do is click on this, and then we're going to open the 14 volumes here from the public law. And that's going to bring up our volume listing. Now when the volume listing comes up, you'll see this link, Cumulative Contents. If we click on Cumulative Contents, it's going to generate a complete list of all of the documents included in this 14-volume compiled legislative history. So now once this list comes up, we can use our command find function again on our keyboard, so Control F, and now we can insert the report number, 829. And here you'll see it brings up, sure enough, House Report providing for consideration of HR 5110, House Report number 829. And then we can link right to the full text of that report within this compiled legislative history. Now, the other thing we can do if we go back to our collection homepage here is we can search the Sources of Compiled Legislative Histories database for our public law, or browse it rather. And this is based on Nancy Johnson's Sources of Compiled Legislative Histories print publication, and we've converted that to a database and provided it here in HeinOnline in an easy-to-use format. And the Sources of Compiled Legislative Histories contains all known sources of compiled legislative histories. So let's just take a look here. So to access the database, you're going to click on Sources of Compiled Legislative History Database under Browse Options, and then you can browse by the Congress, or you can browse by a list of public laws. And when browsing by a list of public laws, it's going to be an A to Z index where you can browse through the names and click on any name to access the database entry for that public law. Or you can browse by Congress. So in our case, we've got Public Law 103-465. So we could, let's say, scroll down to the 103rd Congress. And then again, you're seeing our public law, and we're going to search for 103 103-465. Now we can click this sort by option here and it'll sort those for us. Or again, we can use our command find function on our keyboard, which is Control F, and type in 103-465, and that'll jump us right to the public law here. So from here, we'll go over to the right, Uruguay Round Agreements Act, and click on that. And this is going to bring up a database entry. And this is exactly what you would see if you were looking in the print publication of Nancy Johnson's Sources of Compiled Legislative Histories. So what you see is the public law number, a link, articles that cite this public law number, the bill number, a link to the statutes at large, and then you're seeing subsequent relevant documents and law review articles that Nancy Johnson identified as relevant to the public law at hand, so 103-465. Now as we scroll through here, you'll see here is a full-text legislative history, Uruguay Round Agreements Act, a legislative history of public law number 103-465. And this is a link which tells us that this legislative history is available in full text in HeinOnline. And you'll see under the description here the actual documents in the legislative history, the compiled legislative history, are the reports, the hearings, and the debates. So we can click on this, and this is going to bring us to our volume listing, which looks just like it did had we browsed to the full text legislative history via the other channel. And from here we're going to click Cumulative Contents. And again we're going to use our command find function on our keyboard, so Control F, and we're going to search for that report number 829. And that drops us right down to the House report, and we can link right to the House report full text. So that illustrates two different ways that you can browse to a public law in the full text legislative history collection or through the Sources of Compiled Legislative Histories database in HeinOnline to find either a House or a Senate report. Now again, if you don't find a full text legislative history for the public law in question, then you're not going to find the House or Senate report in HeinOnline because we don't have the complete congressional serial set available in HeinOnline. So that's what we suggest you do, is check the legislative history library for that public law and for a compiled legislative history on that public law.